Let's face it, sitting down for the Cambridge IGCSE Computer Science 0478 exam can absolutely feel like stepping into a massive boss fight. You spend all these hours memorizing definitions, you've got the tech down perfectly, but then the paper comes back and you're losing marks. So what's going on? Well, the truth is, you aren't losing points on your technical knowledge. You're losing them because you just don't know how to play the examiner's game. In this explainer, we're going to crack that game wide open by taking on one of the most notorious stumbling blocks out there: network topologies.
Seriously, ask yourself, are you dropping easy marks? Ordinary revision completely fails when students step into that exam hall and write these vague, overly simple answers that totally miss the technical depth the mark scheme demands. Those half answers, they are literally costing you crucial grade boundaries. But don't worry, we're going to fix those broken answers that are quietly sabotaging your scores, starting right now with the core concepts of network communication.
All right, let's dive into Weapon 1 broadcast networks.
To beat this exam boss, you absolutely need to master your tools. So here is the precise Cambridge Safe syllabus definition. A network employing a broadcasting method to transmit data from one sender to multiple receivers simultaneously. Now, let's break that down into plain English. Just imagine standing in the middle of a really crowded room and shouting a message through a giant megaphone. Everyone in that room hears it at the exact same time, right? That is exactly what a broadcast network does. One sender acts as the source, and literally every single connected device acts as a receiver. The whole foundation of this approach is a one-to-all communication model. And because data packets are just blasted out to all connected devices all at once, the setup is incredibly simple. Devices on a broadcast network don't need to maintain complex routing tables. They don't have to overthink where the data is going. They just push it out to the entire local area network. This sheer simplicity makes it an absolute breeze to implement for smaller networks.
But, every weapon has a weakness. And the fatal flaw of a broadcast network? Congestion. When you try to scale this up to larger, more complex environments, just think about what happens if dozens of devices try shouting through their own megaphones all at the exact same time. It's chaos. You get severe network congestion, scalability becomes a massive headache, and security absolutely plummets because, everyone is receiving everything. Time to switch gears to Weapon 2, point-to-point networks. When broadcasting totally fails due to that congestion, we equip our second weapon to take back control. And here's the exact syllabus definition you need to lock into your memory. Point-to-point networks consist of direct connections between individual pairs of machines, meaning communication occurs between a single sender and a single receiver. The absolute key difference here is that direct one-to-one link. No megaphones this time, it's just a private, dedicated telephone wire strung directly between two specific devices. So, why does this matter? Well, it brings a massive number of advantages. First up, dedicated bandwidth. Because the link is completely exclusive, those two endpoints get to use 100% of the available bandwidth for super efficient data transfer. Next, we have a phrase examiners absolutely love: full duplex communication. This simply means the connection supports simultaneous bidirectional data transfer. Both sides can talk and listen at the exact same time without colliding. Add to that high reliability, since there are no shared paths to introduce failure, and increased privacy, because no one else is snooping on or receiving those data packets. And this perfectly illustrates the core contrast. Just look at how these two stack up. On one side, broadcast relies entirely on a shared channel. Sure, it's simple, but it's noisy and wildly insecure. Then, on the other side, point-to-point provides dedicated bandwidth. It's an exclusive VIP communication path between just two endpoints. Cementing this fundamental difference in your mind is step one to totally conquering these exam questions. Now, I've got a quick question for you. What is the secret examiner clue that completely changes how you should write your answer? In just a moment, I'm going to reveal the specific hidden cue the examiners use to decide if you get top marks or get left at the bottom. But first, you really need the structural framework that makes that clue completely obvious. Let's step into the practice arena: flawed versus flawless. Okay, so we know the technical differences between broadcast and point-to-point, right? Now let's see exactly how to construct a top-band answer that basically guarantees full marks. To pull this off, you need to use this four-step answer framework. First, state the concept. Second, explain the mechanism, like how does it actually function. Third, apply a scenario example directly using the very nouns given in the question. And fourth, lock the whole thing in with precise examiner wording. For instance, using the term full duplex instead of just throwing out two-way.
Before I show you the perfect answer, let's test your current instincts. I'm going to show you a super typical student answer. I want you to mentally spot the exact error in this flawed answer before I reveal the fix. Ready? Let's jump into this mistake clinic. The flawed answer says, the network sends data to everyone and it's easy to set up. Honestly, it sounds true, but it drops marks because it's just way too vague. It completely lacks the technical mechanism. Now, check out the red pen upgrade. Uses a one-to-all communication model, broadcasting data packets to all connected devices simultaneously without complex routing. Do you see the huge difference there? We hit the concept, we nailed the mechanism, and we used precise examiner wording. That right there is how you secure top marks. So let's quickly hit our IGCSE exam strategy rules. If you want to think like the person grading your paper 1, you've got to memorize these 3 rules. First, match the command word. State just requires a brief fact, but describe means you need characteristics. Second, 1 mark equals 1 distinct technical point. Please don't just repeat the same idea using different words. And third, apply every single answer to the specific scenario nouns given in the exam prompt. If they ask about a hospital network, you'd better be talking about that hospital. Okay, it is time for the final checkpoint challenge. Imagine an exam scenario where a financial institution requires a highly secure, data-heavy connection between a main server and a backup server. Think about it for a second. Which topology are you choosing, broadcast or point-to-point, and exactly why? Let's break down that winning solution together. Step 1. The scenario specifically asks for high security and heavy data, which means we instantly identify a clear need for privacy and dedicated bandwidth. Step 2. Because of those constraints, we immediately select the point-to-point topology. Step 3, we apply that top band wording, explaining that a direct link provides full duplex communication and entirely eliminates shared path vulnerabilities. If you tracked with all that, you now officially possess the tools to beat this specific topic boss. Before we wrap things up today, make sure you lock in your ongoing exam success. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCS to really excel in your Cambridge examinations. Now, I've got one final thought to leave you with. You understand the network concepts now. You know the ins and outs of broadcast versus point-to-point. But if you walk into that exam hall and you don't know the exact difference between the command words explain and evaluate, the examiner will still strike you down and you are going to lose those marks. So honestly, ask yourself, do you know exactly what the examiner demands when they say evaluate? The next boss requires a totally different strategy. Join me in our next explainer where we crack the code on command words because, let's face it, mastering the tech is only half the battle. See you there.